Let's discuss securing maxillary dentures with small diameter implants. This is a wonderful restoration for patients because they don't have to worry about the denture ever dislodging when they laugh, smile, or talk. So we begin with local anesthesia of the palatal nerves in the posterior maxilla as well as the incisive foramen area. Wiping the surgical area with chlorhexidine. This is a pilot drill piercing the cortical plate. These are 2.9 millimeter by 15 small diameter implants. These are being slowly screwed to place, and you'll feel the implant bite just like placing a wood screw in a wall as you screw it to place. There'll come a point that you can't screw it anymore with the finger screw. Then you use the ratchet wrench to slowly screw the small diameter implant into the trabecular bone. In a perfect world, the tip of the small diameter implant will engage in cortical bone once it's screwed completely to place. But if it's a long enough implant, that's not essential. Now here we are drilling our next pilot hole through the cortical plate, just piercing the cortical plate, and you'll feel it give once you enter the trabecular bone. The differentiation between a root form implant and a small diameter implant is 3 millimeters of diameter. So these are almost the width of a root form implant. Very, very stable. Remember, the maxillary bone is much softer than the mandibular bone, so you need a wider and ideally longer implant than in the mandibular bone. Typically use a 2.9 or a 2.5 millimeter implant in the maxillary bone and a 1.8 or a 2.1 millimeter in the mandibular bone. Once the implants are screwed to place, you should not be able to screw the implant in anymore with the finger wrench. If you can screw the implant in anymore with the finger wrench, you need to remove that implant and place it in a different location because it's not going to osseointegrate. That's how you tell with a small diameter implant, especially in the maxillary region, if it has a 90+% chance of osseointegrating. If once it's screwed to place, if you can't screw it in any further with as much pressure as you can place with the finger wrench, then the chances are very, very high that it will osseointegrate. So now you'll notice I'm checking routinely with my large mouth mirror to be sure my angulation is correct, because you can change the angulation of the small diameter implant in about the first quarter to third of implant placement. Once you get past that, it's difficult to change the angulation. So check frequently with the large mouth mirror. Now, what is the correct angulation? You want the implants to be angled or have about the same angulation as the tooth. So slightly this direction. Not way out facially, but just slightly this direction, and that follows the angulation of the bone. Place the implants far enough away from the buccal plate that you don't perforate the buccal plate when you're screwing the implants to place. I'm checking with the finger driver to be sure I can't screw the implants in anymore. Verifying placement with a radiograph. We're using the patient's existing denture as an immediate denture. You don't want the small diameter implants to be engaged during the first 3 months of healing. So I'm placing the facet blue mousse in the area of the denture where the implants were placed and then putting that to place over the implants. The implants will mark the blue mousse so that you can cut holes through the denture in those areas so that there's no pressure on the small diameter implants while they're osseointegrating the first 3 months. This is just a large round burr. Make the holes larger. You want to especially extend the holes lingually and then put the denture to place and mark any areas that are close to the small diameter implants. Hollow those out a little bit more. You can make the holes quite a bit larger than the small diameter implant heads. You can see the small diameter implants don't touch the denture. Then I'm going to roughen the denture with an acrylic burr and then clean it with pumice and water. Now I'm placing soft liner adhesive with a cotton ball. I'm placing Vaseline on the denture anywhere I don't want the soft liner to set. Next, we're placing saran wrap on the palatal side of the denture to block the soft liner as it comes through the holes in the denture. Just wrap this around and you can trim it. This limits the amount of soft liner flowing through the holes in the denture. I'm placing green shims over the small diameter implant heads. This allows the patient to more easily seat the denture than if you just had soft liner in the denture. Then squirt soft liner in the denture with the saran wrap on the palatal aspect over the holes. The green shims are on the implants when you seat the denture lined with unset soft liner. And push it to place and let that set. Now as it sets, I'm going to milk the extra soft liner flowing through the holes toward the teeth so it's easier to trim and you don't have a bulk of soft liner on the palatal side of the holes. Try the denture in, it should just snap right to place. Now if you're placing upper and lower implants, you only place an upper immediate denture. You don't place one on the lower. We'll talk about that in another video. Now at this point, we'll also have the patient utilizing Fixodent powder on the posterior part of the denture. We'll use the immediate denture for 3 months while the implants osseointegrate. Then we'll come back and fabricate the final implant-supported dentures.